Well, hey there. Welcome to the Good Fight Collective podcast. My name's Jason. This is my great friend, George. Good Fight Collective is a ministry that we lead. We know that many of us operate alone, but we also know that we're stronger together. And our ministry is intended to help people fight the good fight of faith because we know it's a fight that's worth fighting. On today's episode, we're going to talk through a parable. As George and I have been talking about this content and about our hope and prayer for this podcast, we definitely don't want it to be like we're just bloviating. We really want to make sure that we are seeking the Lord's wisdom and direction for our ministry, for our lives. And as we've talked through content for the podcast and we've prayed through it, we just felt like, hey, we're going to unpack a parable every now and then and just kind of see what the Lord has for us in that. So, George, you want to take today?
Yeah, just kind of reading back through the parable of the sower and the seed.
Okay.
It just kind of jumped out at me, really, because there's 4 different areas that it's involved in here, and there's so much more that goes on. And they even ask him, why do you speak in parables? You know, in the middle of it, it's like, we don't understand. And Jesus like, well, those who really seek me, you know, they'll understand. But some others, maybe not so much. So we're going to share a little bit, and hey, if you want, you kick back and send us something. Tell us what you understand about the sower and the seed, because we won't touch on everything, but just, you know, a few of the things. So as I said, there's kind of 4 different areas that the seed fell on. And as we, you know, unpack this, as everybody likes to talk about unpacking things, they scattered some of the seeds, and it fell on basically like a sidewalk, like concrete. And the birds came, gone, eaten up. Next, it fell in some rocky places that had just very little soil. And the soil wasn't, you know, deep enough. And so it just got scorched. And then some fell and grew a little bit. And then there were thorns that kind of wrapped around it. But then some fell on good soil and gave lots of crops, gave lots of returns. So just with those 4 things right there for a minute, it made me stop and think of going, I think in times of my life, Jason, I've been in all 4 of those stages.
100%.
Right?
Yes.
I mean,
for you, not
yeah, and I'm sure, especially sometimes, man, I will hear truth. It'll hit me right between the eyes, and I walk out the door, and then boom, a lot of times my phone goes off. Yeah. Boom, I'm on my phone, it's gone. It's just the birds ate that, it's gone. I don't know. That's the best example I have for that.
I've got this problem that you're well aware of. I did church consulting for a long time. I'm probably not the best person to go to church with because I have an opinion about programming the whole 9 yards. And even a couple weeks ago, I was leaving a church, and I just got in the car and I started making my list of all the things that I was like, why would they do that? Or why didn't he say that? Or why did they? And it just like the Lord just... It was a moment where the Spirit was like, dude, what did I say? Like I was not being good soil. I was too busy critiquing.
You were hard concrete.
Correct.
100% concrete.
Which was not, I don't think that was my heart walking in the door.
Right.
Maybe it was. But I just walked out going, I just remember sitting in my car going, Lord, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know that I received what you had for me today because I was too busy thinking about that transition or the lack thereof, or why didn't they, or how come they, and and I got caught up in all that, and I just thought, wow, I totally missed what I think God had for me in that moment. Yep.
And then the next one is, you know, just kind of going, all right, we all are there sometimes, and maybe we'll unpack how to get out, and we're going to look at this a little bit more. The rocky soil. Hey, yeah, it fell in. Okay, a little bit got in, but again, I got maybe busy again doing other things, or other things started taking priority, or hey, I'm one of those persons that only goes to church once a month, so you know, it's just rocky. There's not a lot there. Yeah. So some of that, and then you know what? Maybe nope. I'm committed. I'm going every Sunday, and I go, I listen, I hear the word, but that's all I do. I don't pick up my Bible between. I'm not in a men's group. I have no other outlet. And you know what happens? The weeds, just whatever I got Sunday morning, you know, by midday Monday, it's just the weeds have come. Yeah. And they've just choked out whatever, because I don't have that band of brothers. I don't have any consistency in reading the word or prayer. I don't have any structure or anything. So I think that's what happens when the weeds choke it out. So those first 3, just sitting on those for a minute, I'm like, I can see seasons of my life where I've been all three of those.
For sure.
Right? And I don't think I'm alone in that. But the great thing is that's not where Jesus leaves us.
And I think for most of us, if we actually are honest enough and see it, it was never necessarily intentional. Although our sin is often intentional,
Right.
but I think we, through the nature of everyday life, sometimes we find ourselves, because of our decision making, we find ourselves not good soil because of just how things happen or how we react to things. And I think it's fascinating to hit the brakes and ask the question, why am I not good soil right now? What's causing me to be one of these three things?
And it's great that you say that, and cannot improve on the words of Jesus. So let's just look at this in verse 18. It says, listen then what the parable of the sower means. Verse 19. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one will come and snatch away what has been sown in the heart. This is the seed sown on the path. So again, you didn't understand it. Well, hey, I don't pretend to understand everything that's being taught. But again, that's why you need that band of brothers, or you make an appointment with someone at the church or the pastor to go, hey, what did you mean by this? Or you have that heart and desire. You need that to get to that next step, to get off of it just being snatched away from you immediately.
It's good. I went to a pastor say, my job is to tap the nail on the wall, but to really make it hold the weight of truth, you're going to go sit with people and say, what did that mean to you?
Yes.
And that's when you can hang something on it. But if you just hang it and it's not nailed on the wall, it's going to fall off. It's not going to hold on to the weight of truth. But the way you make it personal is to sit down and go, hey, what did you think? Hey, how does that apply to you? How do you navigate that in your life? I think it's it's a good challenge.
Because Jesus wants us to move to that next step.
Yeah.
So again, the rocky ground, verse 20, the seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble comes, they quickly fall away. And again, that's that whole thing again of having a community, being at a local church, being with a group to help foster and grow, being discipled by someone.
It's good.
Move on to the next.
Yeah.
The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of life. Worries of life? Anybody have worries of life? My goodness. Hey, he's overcome. In this world, you will have trouble, but I've overcome the world. Boy, we can hang our hat on that. Okay, the seeds that fell among the thorns refer to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and just ends up choking the word, making it unfruitful.
I think this is the one where you really see how you're wired. Because if you're wired very driven, you probably just run over this and keep moving on. If you're wired super relationally, you feel it and you see it, sense it. I do think your personality, not in all of this, I just think it's one of those things where you could probably unpack this deeper based on who you are and how God's wired you to think. My thorns might be different than your thorns because of how I operate in everyday life, but we all have our thorns and how we deal with them. I will say this too. This language is fascinating because I remember years ago meeting with a leader, and I got in the car with a friend, and he goes, that dude's got some thorns. And I was like, what? That's judgmental. But what he was saying was, hey, there's a thing holding him back, and you could see it. And I was like, well, I hadn't thought about it through that filter before, but it's a really fascinating way to think through our everyday life and how we're navigating with truth, right?
Yeah. So to break this down, if you have someone like Jason and I have, like I said, we get together sometimes and I can go, hey, dude, everything seems like it's falling on concrete. I'm not getting anything. I'm just up against a wall. Yeah. Or if you have a group, hey, guys, I'm trying. I'm having quiet times. I'm having regular devotionals. I'm trying to pray, but it just seems like my joy keeps getting snatched from me. And again, it's the reason to have a group and a band of brothers,
Yeah.
because Jesus desires us to do what it says here. But the seed falling on good soil. So how do you become good soil? Well, I think you open yourself up to others of the hardships that you're having. You're in the word, you're in the prayer. And if you're, like I just said before, if you're running up against the wall there, you speak that to someone. Let them speak a word of encouragement to you. Some accountability comes about. But the seed that fell in the good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. Father, give me wisdom. He tells us, ask for wisdom. Lord, I don't understand. Just give me wisdom. He may give you clarity. He may give you someone in your life to come help you understand. Seek that out so you know. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 100, 60, and 30 times that was sown. So that just, I don't know where that hits on anybody, but I was reading back through that, and thanks for letting me, bring this up in this, and it just hit me. I was like, man, I'm all for those sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm just on fire. Things are happening. Things are clicking. God gives me a word that I can share with you, or God gives you a word you can share with me. I was like, man, good soil. We're cooking. But I said this to my daughter just the other day. She had a bad day. I said, listen, only an average person is at their best every day. I'm going to say that again. Only an average person is at their best every day. So I don't know, I'd like to, and I strive to live in good soil, but I think there's times I slip back to where I'm in the shallow soil. I'm the concrete. I got some weeds coming in, and that's why I need a band of brothers. I need someone like Jason to go, hey, I can confess that to, or they see me and go, hey, something's off. What's going on?
Yeah.
So that's where that just kind of jumped up and hit me. Thoughts?
That's cool. I think good soil for me, in my 50-something years on this planet, I'm learning good soil doesn't just happen. There's work required. There's the ability to open your hands and let go and surrender. And like good soil is not something you wake up and go, hey, I'm going to be. I mean, yes, there's God's grace is a massive part of that you wake up to every day that none of us deserve. But good soil is a discipline. Good soil is it's a fruit of things in our life. And I've realized for me, at times where my language is not appropriate or my attitude is not good, when I actually can take a breath and think about what's going on in my heart, what is this thorn? There's something preventing me from being good soil. And that something's usually something I'm doing or thinking or allowing myself to think. And I think it's a really cool challenge to go, how can I be good soil?
Yeah, I think somebody's probably out there jumping up and down right now and going, it's an agricultural issue too, and there's all kind of process. No, seriously, about letting the land rest every 7 years. And there's all kind of stuff that we're just not going to unpack and break all that down right now. And Jesus was using something that they would understand.
For sure.
Right? Because they were just trying to grow and eat something, that day. They different culture type than us. But I think we can glean a lot from this, that Jesus wants us to produce his fruit.
Yeah.
Through us, and we can do that by having relationships with others that help us unpack when we get caught hitting the concrete, when we grow up a little bit and get burned out because it's snatched away in bad and shallow soil, when life gets us and starts wrapping those weeds around us, because we all desire to be used of God.
And I think the reality is God's endless seeds are always being spread out. I think, how are we positioning ourselves to receive that? And it's a cool challenge. So on that, we have a couple of questions we wanted you to wrestle with as you think through this, whether with yourself or whether it be in your group. The first one is how do you think we could become good soil? How do you think we could become good soil? Second question, what are the thorns in your life that choke his word out? What are the thorns in your life that choke his word out? Third question, how is your root currently as you think about where you're at and receiving truth from God? How is your root? And then how can you strengthen that as you think about how is your root and what are some things I can do to potentially strengthen that? And then last question is this, what just challenges you? As George unpacked the 4 different types of places the seeds went and the things that happen, what challenges you from this parable?
So we hope that you unpack those with your small group, with a trusted friend, and help get yourself understanding a little bit more of when you're in each one of the categories, as we all strive to fight the good fight of faith, to be good soil where the seeds can fall, that God can use us, he can share his love through us. And until we meet again, fight on.